Hey everybody, my name is Andrew Wormsley and welcome to another episode of Embrace the Opposite, where we talk about relationship advice and motivation. One of the big things that I encounter when I'm talking to couples that I've had to deal with in my own relationship is trust. Trust is huge. It's one of those things that when you lose it, it's really hard to get it back. You know, lack of trust can happen for a number of reasons. You can be insecure, that can just be part of your personality. Something could happen to you in past relationships to where you're bringing that into this relationship, or something can happen within the current relationship that just breaks trust. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about some techniques that you can use right now to build trust up in your relationship. Stay tuned. So guys, when we talk about trust, I really want to get into finances. Yes, I said that right, finances, guys. So let's say you and your partner are coming together for a business transaction. You have separate bank accounts. Maybe one of you has a low balance, maybe the other has a high balance. Maybe you both have high balances or you both have low balances. These are the trust buckets. Both of us come into the relationship. Maybe some of us have trust issues, maybe we don't. Maybe there's something that's happened in our childhood that causes us not to trust people, right? So we have to identify these things. And what you're doing in this business transaction is you are making deposits into your partner's bank account. You're doing that to fortify trust. You're doing that to build up the bank account. These can be little things that you do on an everyday basis. Maybe they go unnoticed, but it's actually building trust with that person. What happens is when we break that trust, we're taking a huge withdrawal out of that bank account, and now the balance is zero. The tricky part is, how do we make deposits into that bank account now to build back up the trust? So one of the main things that you can do to fortify trust in your relationship is be a person of integrity and do what you say you're going to do. I cannot emphasize enough how many couples I talk to that as we're talking, we get to a point to where a question comes up, somebody says a statement, and then I ask if that was followed through. Did you actually do that? And the answer is no. So these are where we have to be diligent. We have to be very confident that we are going to do what we say we're going to do. If we don't, that's going to present a sign of distrust, present a sign of not following through. Our partners are going to think that they can't depend on us and lean on us. These are things we really need to do to pump trust back into the relationship. So the things that really are going to fortify trust, they don't have to be these big grandioso things. As a matter of fact, right now, my wife took the kids out of the house so that I could do this video. I asked her kind of last minute, she had other things on her agenda, but I asked her as a favor and she said yes. And that's why I'm able to do the video. You don't hear two little kids running around making noise. So that's something that without even really making the point to build trust, she's actually building trust with me because I was able to depend on her to help me out in a time when I needed to get something done. These are very important things, guys, that we can do on a daily basis for our partner that's going to help us build trust. There's really two ways that we need to work on trust. One is if you or your partner is coming into the relationship and there's already insecurities. So this is where you or your partner has had something happen in the past, maybe with past relationships or maybe when they were a child, to where they now are extremely insecure in giving their heart and giving their trust to another person. This is not the end of the world. You have to look for creative, interesting, and committed ways to build trust with that person. It's going to be different for everybody based on what they've kind of gone through. But again, the overarching thing is to do what you say you're going to do. The second one is where somebody messed up. Trust was broken, there was a betrayal, something happened to where the other person can no longer trust their partner. One of the things we really have to focus on with this is how to build that trust back up, specific for that person and specific for the violation that has happened. So the first thing you want to do is remember to be patient. When you're building this trust back up, or when you're developing trust in your relationship from the get-go, this is not something that's going to be done overnight. Relate it to working out, going to the gym. It's going to be an everyday process to where some days you're going to not feel like doing it. And you still got to get up and go, right? You still have to get up with your partner and work on the trust. If you are someone who violated your partner, if you are someone who broke that trust with your partner, this is truly, truly important for you. You're going to have days to where it's just going to you're through with it. You're done with it. You don't want to have any more to do with it. But it's in those moments where you need to get up and get your butt to the gym. You need to get up and be committed to your partner and to your relationship and find a way to forge through. But the main thing is just to be patient. Both of you have to remember it's not going to happen overnight. If you decide to remain after that trust has been broken, this is going to be a long process, but you can get there. Believe me, you can get there. Number 2 is really just be transparent. Look, something has happened. A violation has happened. In my own relationship, this was a time for me, because I was the one that violated, this was a time for me to where I had to be completely transparent with my wife. I had to share with her things I didn't want to share. I had to answer all of her questions. I'll put the link below to this previous incident where I talked about this. But it was really something where I had to kind of bite my tongue and do what she asked of me. I wanted to make sure that I was building trust back into the relationship, which isn't an easy thing. I think for both of you, both the one who's been violated and the one who did the violating, both of your minds are not in the right place at the start. So step 1, be patient. Step 2, be transparent. Talk about the issues. Talk about why you did what you did. Answer all the questions that your partner has if you were the one who did the violating. This is not a time for you to be closed in. This is not a time for you to be private. This is a time for you to be very open. So be transparent with your partner. Number 3 is forgiveness. So look, the fact of the matter is that if you were the one who was violated, if you were the one that trust was broken with, you can be angry and bitter for as long as you want to, and the fact of the matter is that you deserve to be angry and bitter. You were hurt, and you deserve some time to deal with that and to work through that. But the truth is that that is only going to prolong the hurt. If you guys choose to remain and renew the relationship, then this is a time for you to progress. This is a time for you to grow, to establish a new relationship. So forgiveness is a huge part of that. Forgiveness is going to come into play at the right time for you, but it's important to remember that that has to happen. Forgiveness is not an easy thing, and no one's asking, and nor do I think that you should forget or you should condone the behavior of your partner. But if you're going to remain and renew, forgiveness is a big step, and you're going to have to move past that to get to the betterment of the relationship and to really rebuild that trust. And the last thing to remember is really to just readjust your boundaries. When trust has been broken, there's been a violation that one partner made against the other. And what you need to do to commit to each other is to work together and make sure that those violations are extremely minimized or do not happen ever again. We tend to put ourselves in situations where we flirt with a little bit of disaster in our relationship. We tend to toe that line, to get right to the edge and then maybe step back. So what we need to do with boundaries is we need to create a means for us as a couple to make sure that we're safeguarding ourselves to those areas and that we're staying far from those areas, that we're making sure that we're respecting each other in that way. So this may be something like disconnecting from Facebook friends, cutting up a credit card, or giving it to my spouse so that I don't use it. There are things that we need to do, and we need to get creative with these things because ultimately our building back of the trust is hinging on it. You know, one of the huge names in relationship research is a gentleman named Dr. John Gottman. And he has these things called sliding door moments. And basically, it's a moment where we are presented with an option. We can go right or we can go left. And based on how we choose, everything that happens if we make that choice is different than if it would be if we went the other way. And when you're presented with these moments concerning trust, it's really important that you make the better decision, that you probably make the decision that's going to cause you to have a little bit more discomfort, to have a little bit more strength and courage in that decision-making process to promote the trust. You know, we can all choose to go the opposite direction. Things like, I'm not going to take the kids out of the house so my husband can do his YouTube channel, or, you know, I'm not going to clean the kitchen or make dinner even though I said I was going to, or I'm not going to call my wife on the way home even though I said I was and she asked me to. We can all make that decision, right? But we have to understand that we're making that decision, and then there's going to be a series of events that completely changes the outcome if we go in that direction. Whereas if we can do these things it is ultimately going to build trust back up in our relationship. Make no mistake, guys, this is not an easy task. This is not something that I wish on anybody. However, I am a firm believer that through these practices, you can build trust back into your relationship. If the relationship is worth salvaging, if you want to remain and renew in that relationship, and it is a renew, being patient, setting new boundaries, forgiveness, and being transparent, these are things that are going to uproot your relationship. But the fact of the matter is that the trust has already been broken, so now it's time to work to gain that back. So I want to motivate you guys. If you've had an issue with trust, follow some of these steps. Maybe there's some other steps that have worked for you. Please comment below. If trust has been broken, don't just always throw it away. If you choose together to remain and renew, there's a process. And you gotta be patient, you gotta trust that process, but there's a process to build that back up. So guys, if you feel like this video was helpful for you, go ahead and hit the like button. Would really appreciate it. And then also, if you feel like someone else in your circle might benefit from this, go ahead and share it with them. Love to get the discussion around this. Love to see new and interesting techniques that people are using out there to help build trust in their relationship. So guys, that's what I wanted to share today. I hope it was helpful. Again, this is Andrew Wormsley reminding you to embrace the opposite, reminding you to be swell. Be the best spouse who ever lived. If we do that, if we're all doing that, then we're going to be a lot better in this whole relationship game. We'll holler at you guys next time. Peace.